Good afternoon, everyone. Steve Murray here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. With me today is Dave Pimper, the coach, head of Lazarus Coaching. As we do about twice a month, is we're going to do a little we call them 2020 sales focus. And the idea is to minimize anything but giving you just the hard facts on the information at hand, which the information at hand today is in-service non-hardship withdrawals. Dave's going to talk a little bit about in-service non-hardship withdrawals, how you can use them in your day-to-day business, give the ins and outs of them, how they work, and kind of the nuts and bolts of how you get into talking to your clients about them and where they can find out what they need to know to make them work. So should be a really good webinar today in true spirit of our goal here. I'm just going to do a short introduction of Dave. Dave is 41 years in the business now, probably 550 seminars in front of consumers. Radio, he's been working on radio for probably 32 of those 40 years or so in the business. So he's really a big part of his business, a big part of his success over many years has just been putting himself in front of many prospects and potential clients as he can, and he's done some really good and innovative things to make that happen. Today, we're going to talk about one of the things that he chats about regularly with his clients, which is, as I mentioned, in-service non-hardship withdrawals. And with that short and illustrious introduction, I'm going to turn it over to the coach, Dave Pimper.
Thank you very much, Steve. Shorter the better. That always works. My name is Dave Pimper. I'm a producer, so I'm just doing the same thing you are. I'm making it happen. But our business is about getting in front of people, but it's knowledge also. And one of the things I'm going to talk about is in-service non-hardship withdrawal plans. What's interesting is my market is the pre-retired or just retired marketplace. I just got done with an appointment. This was a little bit older client. He was 75 years of age, but it was through Retirement Boss Radio that he heard, and we rolled over his TSP, his Thrift Savings Plan. So, but let's just pretend that he was 62 years of age, which I just did one last week with a company plan, 62. And a lot of advisors think if you're 62 and still working for, say, IBM or Kellogg's or Microsoft, I mean, one of the companies, that you cannot go in and don't have availability to their retirement assets, but that may not be the case. And we're talking about that right now. So I do probably a third of my business is with this kind of unique, this in-service non-hardship withdrawal provision. But I talk about it, finding new money, and it's really kind of made easy. If you've got questions, certainly type them in, and I'll be more than happy to go in and answer those for you. Okay? So, what's the definition of it? Now, I'm not going to read that whole definition, but this is concerning a company retirement plan, like a 401k, 403b, 457 thrift savings plan. It's the company plan when you're age 59 and a half or over. It's called a 59 and a half rule also. 59 and a half or over. If you've got this provision, not all companies do. The bigger the company, the better chance it is to have this provision. But what happens is you can still be working for the company, but we as advisors can roll over a portion or all of that company retirement plan into an IRA, an individual retirement account. Doesn't make a difference usually if it's traditional or if it's Roth. Most people have much more traditional money than Roth money. So let's go in and kind of look at the specific, the rules and regulations. Normally, you've got to be 59 and a half or over. 401k, 403b, 457, TSP, through a savings plan. Sometimes they won't allow you to move it in its entirety. It might be just your money, not the match. Or it may not be the Roth money. It might be just the traditional. It does happen, but most of the time you can move it all. If you take it out in cash and doesn't roll, they're going to take 20% of it out for taxation. Of course, when you roll over from custodian to custodian, it's a direct rollover. There is no taxes taken out. It's all deferred. You may need a spousal consent. Sometimes you can take it out with loans, but most of the time not. You got to pay the loan off. Remember, it's a tax-free transfer, stays tax deferred. Why do people do it? Well, first of all, they don't know it's even available to them. But we, as independent, just take a look if you've got an expertise in fixed index and fixed annuities, how much more competitive is that guaranteed than most 401k plans have? A lot normally, but they give much more. With working with an advisor, they've got that personal attention and usually many more options. Okay. Now, ask yourself, why does a company offer an in-service withdrawal provision? Why do they do that? Well, if you look at the very last thing, first of all, liability, company liability. They don't have as much liability once there's an in-service plan. Why? If that person says, I kept it in the stock funds because there wasn't a good guaranteed fund. There wasn't a good money to put my money into to grow in those tough time periods. It just wasn't a guarantee. Well, they could have said, look, you could take your money on out, you could roll it over, put it into that fixed index or fixed. Also, they want to be competitive with their package. So if they're getting an older employee, say CEO, COO, one of the C-suites, or just older employee, they've got a big plan. They can go in and they can roll that money over, or they can go in and keep more flexibility at the age of 59 and a half over, okay, by still working there. And a lot of people are phasing in retirement now. So they're reducing their working hours, but they need to go in and get to some of their money too, because they aren't fully full-time employed. Those are kind of the reasons. If you have a question, just type them in. Those are short, quick hitters, those webinars. So I'll be done here in about 5 minutes, and then we'll answer any questions that you did put up. So how do you find the money? Well, you first get that 401k statement, that company retirement plan statement. And so to find out whether they have an in-service plan, you just call the custodian. Don't call the plan, the company. They don't want you to take money out. But Fidelity, Vanguard, MassMutual, American Funds, and big boys, they don't care. They used to, but they don't now. They're very, very nice about moving the money for them. But they'll tell you whether they have that 59 and a half rule, the in-service rule, or not. I do lots of partials. Even if I take the whole thing, say it's 400,000, I might leave 5,000 in there. Maybe you wouldn't have to, but I do, just to kind of keep it seated. But it gives them a lot of options they don't have now. Hopefully it makes their portfolio better. That's the full intent of doing that. So remember, this is not an indirect rollover. The check is not made out to them. It's made out to the company. And sometimes, like Fidelity, they make it out to the company, but mailed to the client, mailed to your prospect. That's fine. They can't cash it. It's made out to the company. So it is a tax-free transfer. It continues the tax deferral. Why do it? We've gone through this before, but many more investment or many more guaranteed options. A lot of people like consolidating into IRAs when they get older. You do have required minimum distributions at 72. That might be going up to 73 here with the Secure Act 2.0. But having control of your money, it's a big deal to a lot of people, and they do an individual retirement account. So, yeah, I've been in the business since 1981. That's when I started, July the 9th of 81. Actually, I present over 550 public seminars. That's a lot. That's 15 to 20 every single year for as long as I've been in business. I'm still in full production, but I coach people. So what happens is, if you'd like to get coached up on a certain subject, say you want to get coached up on in-service plans, I have a layout, I've got articles, I've got great things to read, but I coach you up. It's a 45-minute coaching session. It's $200 to coach you up that one session on really all the ins and outs, and how I go in and I get that money captured. I'll tell you right now, you can be the best salesperson, the best advisor, and not talk to anybody, any prospects, and it's all to waste. It's all for naught because you're not going to get business. So if you have interest in that, we're going to put up a poll. If you'd like to meet 15, 20 minutes, we have it's a 3-session sales process talking about really any kind of strategy, but fixed indexed really is kind of my expertise when it comes around the sales process. But I'm a very much of a process type of person. I love marketing. Retirement Boss Radio seminar. I tell you what, our seminars, we're doing a ton of Social Security seminars right now. And if you're not on board with that, I coach Social Security also. In fact, IAMS pays me to coach you. It doesn't cost you a thing. So it's a turnkey system. One of the big things is we want to get people as much production as you possibly can. So, there's a lot to think about. Most retirees who get towards those last 4 or 5 years, they don't even know this option is available, but we can certainly let them know. There's an old saying, it says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. And tomorrow never comes. If you heard something today to help your production, heard something today, I really need to learn more about that in service. Yeah, we've got ways here with IAMS and Dave Pimper being the coach that we can coach you up. We can explain to you and really help you work this pre-retired and just retired marketplace. So Steve, let's do this. Let's put up the slide if they'd like to get a consultation. And I know I saw some questions come on in, and we can certainly answer those questions, and then we can call it for a wrap for the day. So those sales focus, kind of 2020 sales focus, they're short, quick hitters. We want to let you know that we're here to help you get in front of more people. We're here to get you in front of more prospects so you can go in and have tools in your, the arrows in your quiver to do the job and hopefully help your production. That's what we're trying to do.
Good stuff, as always, Dave. There have been a few questions that have popped up during the course of your quick presentation here today. So you might want to go over the process again by which you determine whether a particular plan has the ability to take non-hardship withdrawals.
It's pretty simple, Steve. We tell them to bring in their 401k statements, their retirement statements, any kind of investments, annuity statements, life insurance, tax return. We tell them to bring those in. And if we find money, meaning we found money that they would like for us to give them ideas on, I just ask them. I said, you're still working? Yep. And you got this plan with Vanguard, right? Yep. How much? 700,000. To say, you may have, I'm not saying you do, but do you know if you have availability that you could go in and take a portion or even all of that money and say, work with me from an independent side and really give you some options? That was available. Still, you work there. No, I never heard about that. All we do is we call the custodian. I'll write off the 401k plan, the Vanguard, the Fidelity, the T. Rowe Price, the Transamerica, whoever that custodian is, Empower, we call that custodian, just ask, hey, now they're going to get the client, send them a passcode or something on his phone, make sure it's really him or her. But then we just say, does it have a 59.5 rule? Does it have an in-service non-hardship withdrawal rule at 59? The bigger the plan, the better chance there is. The smaller the plan, the lesser chance. But there's a lot more plans that have it now than don't. And that has been the case here since the Great Recession of 2007, 8, and 9. And I would say a third of the business that I get are from people who are still working at their jobs.
Perfect. So Tanya asked two questions, really. Let me read it here. In your experience, are most clients familiar with this type of withdrawal? And do most plans offer it?
Yep. So no is the first question. The majority of people do not know it's available because the plans don't promote it. They don't want money. They make money. Companies make money. Someone's making money, off of the custodian, off of having that plan there. There's a cost to it. There's an administrational cost, not just the cost of the mutual funds or exchange traded funds. The second thing is that most people don't know about it. What was the second question, Steve?
Go back.
Can you find it?
Do most people know about it? And do most companies offer it?
Yeah. I would say yes. Now, most companies that I talk to do offer it. I would say 65, 70%. I would say 10 years, only 30, 35% had it. More companies have it than not now.
Did not know.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I was not listening probably as closely as I should have, Dave. You, during the course of the event, evidently said something about leaving seed money in the IRA. What did you mean by that?
Yep. It's just me personally. Instead of taking it all, I leave a little on the table. And I always say just kind of keep it greased and keep it oiled. But do you have to? There are some plans that if you take it all out, there has to be like a 6-month wait before you re-enroll. People don't want to do that because they're putting money in on a paycheck by paycheck basis. So I always leave $3,000 to $5,000 in the plan. Just it might even be more, or it might be partial. It might be an $800,000 plan, and I'm only going to work at the fixed, maybe a portion of that money they want guaranteed. So I take the $300,000 out and just work at the fixed index. But if it does well, then I've got a very good chance of working with the rest of the money down the road. Very good.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I see that many of you, actually I would say most of you, have voted. A couple folks have not. If you can go ahead and throw a vote, yes or no, and don't, as I always say, don't be afraid to put a no in there. If you don't need additional information or don't have any questions that you want to address directly with Dave on non-hardship in-service withdrawals, that's fine. Just put a no on that poll. Let's see. Kind of trying to weed my way through here. You talk about radio. Oh, I did. You probably all noticed I sent along during the course of the event in your chat message. You'll see the website for Dave's radio offering, Retirement Boss Radio. And if you go down to the bottom of that, you can see hear recordings of Dave's radio show. So if you want to listen and maybe see, how often do you, Dave, talk about in-service non-hardship withdrawals on your radio show? Is it like you do 4 a month? Is it like you try and weave that in once or twice a month, or more than that?
A couple times a month. I talk about it a couple times. I talk about Social Security every single week, but I did go in and with in-service normally maybe 2 times a month. And Steve, did it come across your desk yet that we signed up a new person on the East Coast on radio?
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce his name. But...
yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a very much of an Italian name, but great guy. He's going to be very, very good. It's in the Philadelphia area, and I'll tell you what happens is that it's amazing how many people listen to radio. Radio, different than younger people, they mostly listen to podcasts. See, do you listen to podcasts or not?
I actually do some now. I mean,
yeah. My wife does. My wife does too, but she listens to a bunch of radio, but she listens to a bunch of podcasts. I'm not a big podcast guy. Young kids are huge podcast people. They listen to podcasts all the time, but that kind of 55 and over crowd, which, sorry to say we are, that's really our group. That's who we're really going for. The in-service non-hardship withdrawal, you can't do it before 59 and a half. And when they talk about people, 10,000 people every day are turning 65. But if you think about it, they're also turning 64. Another 10,000, 63. And then another 10,000, 62. Well, if you go from 59 and a half, so 60 through 70, that's what I'm working with. I got 100,000 people turning an age that is beautiful in that transitional area for me to work with. And so that's where that in-service non-hardship, and that's like the radio show Retirement Boss Radio, that I get 2-3 appointments average per week. It's just really timely to have those types of things working for you.
Absolutely. So pretty popular subject for you on the radio show. Yep. So Martin asks about at what other times can you do withdrawals from retirement plans? His question really is about, do we have to wait to 59 and a half? He thought some plans will allow them as early as 55, and I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, they're government plans. Normally they're city government plans, so like policemen, firemen, sometimes teachers. It just depends, but where you can get to your money at 55. Normally, there's not before that, unless there's something called a 72T, regulation 72T. You got to take out, it's over a It's over a 10-year time period. There's a couple, 3 ways, but you could actually do it at any age, until you turn 59 and a half. So we have some people that are 52, 53 that need income, and they've retired and they want to take money out. So there are specific ways to do that. And again, from a coaching standpoint, Steve, I coach so many different things, but retirement planning, retirement rollovers, that is just, that's where the money is. I mean, that's the people have worked their whole life, so that's why I have an expertise around that age group.
You bet. Let's see if there are any more questions. Just they got stacked up on me here, so I need to go back through. I don't think that I've missed any here. If I have,
Okay.
by all means, if you would just type them in again and I'll grab them. Retirement Boss Radio. So we got a couple folks that haven't voted. I want to show you all Dave's website, Retirement Boss Radio, real quick. If those of you that haven't voted could vote for me real quick. Like I said, don't be afraid to put a no. If you are unable to vote for whatever reason and you want to chat with Dave, give us a call here at the office. The number is 800-255-5055. When you call, if you would, just ask for any sales director. You can ask for me if you like. I'm glad to put you in touch with Dave as well. My name is Steve Murray, and again, that number is 800-255-5055. Looks like we just are not going to have some people vote. I'm going to close that poll out anyway. I'm going to take them to your, hopefully it closes out. I know we've had that problem. Let's see. Yeah, it closed out for us. So let me go back now. Then there's Dave's website. So it's www, as you can see up at top there, Retirement Boss Radio. That's what I chatted over to you. And if you want to, a lot of good stuff on here. If you want to look at the white paper, that's really good stuff on how you could be successful and why radio has had a really good track record of success for people in Retirement Boss Radio. But if you go down here, Podbean, that's where you can see Dave's podcast, and you can listen to any one of his radio shows up to and including last Sunday. Or Saturday, yeah, last Saturday. So really good stuff there. This webinar and all of our webinars are available. We record them, or not all of them, but I would say most of them are recorded, and we then hang them out on our website, which I can maybe show you that as well. Dave, is there anything while I'm going here that you want to add about?
I will just say this. A lot of people are lone rangers out there. Maybe they have an administrator. But what happens is having someone like myself kind of on your side that really understands the business, but marketing and just the sales process, knowledge is power. And what happens is I'm here to just give you insight of how to increase the production in your business. Now that's real important. And so if you got questions on in-service non-hardship withdrawals, just about sales process, we're just killing them right now when it comes to Social Security seminars. And I coach people up on Social Security claiming at no cost to you, none. IAM pays me to coach you. They know people who know Social Security are going to go on in, and normally they're bigger producers. So if there's something there, Retirement Boss Radio, which we just talked about, if there's something there that I can help you with, just mark yes. I'll be more than happy to talk. And you know what? There's no charge for that. And it's easy. You know what? And maybe, and if whether we do something or not, it makes no difference. I'm just there to help you. That's my whole goal, and hopefully it's worth your time for that 15-20 minutes.
Well, I've got enough experience now working with you, Dave, and talking to folks that have taken advantage of your services at one level or another, that I know that's 15 or 20 minutes that you'll always get some value from. Anytime that I think you spend some time talking with a producer like yourself that does what you do, and someone that spends as much time and effort as getting in front of prospects as Dave does, you're going to get some valuable information. Practice management is an area where Dave does coaching for us and has a lot of expertise as well. So there's a lot of different ways he can help you. So it'd be a good opportunity for you to spend 15 or 20 minutes with Dave and grow your business. You'll get some good stuff. as I noticed, I'm looking through our website here. This is our website, www.imzinc.com, and I noticed we actually put a tab down here below where you can just kind of click on it. But when we ever move that, you'll find it also right up here, the YouTube icon there, and then you'll see all of our webinars. There's like the one that we did recently on Social Security radio claiming. Here's one on Retirement Boss Radio. A couple other ones that you might grab and say, hey, this is stuff that preset appointments and things like that. Anything that you might think you might have interest in that we do here at IMS, most of that has been covered in a webinar, and so you'll find them little quick hits that you can listen to on your own schedule. So kind of nice. I think that's all that we have for today. Let me just check and see if a question or two has come in here, Dave. And no, we're good. So
good.
Let me end by saying thank you to you, Dave, for your time here today. I know just given your the marketing, and even here we are in mid-August, and your appointment calendar is full. And I appreciate you taking some time out of that calendar today to join us for a quick 20 minutes. Also, thank you all out there as well for spending some time with us here. It's Thursday afternoon. It's summertime. You probably be golfing or boating or whatever you like to do in the summer. The fact that you take some time to learn something to help you grow your business, to help your clients, means a lot to us here at IAM. So whatever we can do to help you, feel free to give us a call. That number again is 800-255-5055. We're here for you, here to help you. So by all means, don't hesitate to give us a call. Thank you for joining us today, and have a good finish to your week, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.